I'm really excited about today because we are learning a process called the future self activation method, and this is something that is literally changed my life and the lives of so many of my clients, my friends, because I'm literally always giving out this guide to everyone I meet, everyone I talk to. Anytime my friends go like, "Hey, I don't know how to plan for my future," I'm like, "Take this guide, it has all the steps." It is super powerful, and if you actually really listen in, because if you're here, then you've obviously watched the first part of this training. Today is integration day, and I'm really excited because I have been up since 4 a.m. and I've been in a training since 4 a.m. and I'm attending this event. That's a 3-day event. It's called Neurotransformation Therapy. By the time I'm done, I'm going to be a neurotransformation therapy practitioner. And what is really cool is for me to see that although I started my day at 4 a.m. and I've been in class and literally just got done 30 minutes ago after 12 hours off training where we're jumping and yelling and literally just breaking through, I have all this energy and I'm just like, oh my God, I want to share this with you guys. Let's get right to it. The future self activation method is all about activating your future self from the highest timeline that already exists. Because if you've watched, and I know you have, the previous video, you now know that we have infinite potentials for our reality that already exists. You don't have to build your future self from scratch. You don't have to do everything as if you were just born today. You literally just have to select that potential from the field and bring it into your reality and manifest anything you want, whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, into your life, because that is how powerful this is. All right, this is you right now. This is you, and these are all the potentials for your reality that exist. This is your highest timeline. This is that dream life that you want, that dream job, that dream partner, that whatever that, when you think about your biggest, wildest dream, this is that timeline where you get it all. And then this is your lowest timeline. This is the timeline where if you absolutely let everything go, and if you absolutely, and not in a good way, rather if you absolutely stop giving a crap about your life and you fall into this depressive pit and you maybe start drinking or doing drugs or just feel so apathetic with life that you stop enjoying and you go into this rabbit hole of misery where you're just so sad and everything sucks and life is so terrible. This is that timeline. We were not going there, because if we're here, then clearly we are meant for the highest freaking timeline, guys. But this timeline, somewhere in the middle, that's where you are right now. Right now, that's where you are. And there is, although you know that there's this impeccable dream timeline and you will have all this potential to get to this timeline, the reason why you're somewhere in the middle right now is because there's not enough pain. Here's the thing about pain. Well, here's the thing about change, actually. This is the principle of two peas. Two peas in a pod. Nope. Two peas as in two alphabet peas, not peas or any kind of peas, or peas. Two alphabet peas. The principle of peace says that people change for two reasons. Because they change to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. And most people will do far greater things to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. Because survival brain, you guys, that's how it is. The reason why you are somewhere in the middle, and even though that potential for your highest timeline, your dream life, it already exists, the reason why you are not there is because there's not enough pain for you to change. You're in this place where you're like, things are crappy, but they're not so bad. I can live with this kind of shit show. The room is messy, but it's not messy enough for you to be like, oh my God, I need to deep clean this shit. A couple of weeks ago, I did like this deep cleaning of my closet, and I used to be a very disorganized person, and my closet used to be very disorganized all the time, right? And it was like that for a really long time, and even though sometimes my maid would clean it, it would just not be satisfying enough for me. But I was somewhere in the middle where it was like, cool, it's just not how organized I would like for it to be, but it's not so bad that I would want to change it. And then day after weeks, after months, what happened was that my closet was like, You opened it and there were these piles of clothes, dude. Anytime I would need to take an outfit out, I would need to throw all of that on the floor and then sift through it and then find this black shirt and this black trouser, because you can clearly see I'm a black kind of girl. And it was fine one time and it was fine the second time, but doing it over and over again every single day, I was just like, nope, not another day. And I decided I will deep clean my closet and I will make sure that I stay organized. And that's the thing. Unless there was that enough pain for me to throw out all the clothes on the floor and then put them back in the closet over and over again every single day, I wouldn't do it. And so when the pain was that great, I finally took action and I chose my highest timeline version. I went into my mind's eye and I was like, what would the highest version of me be? Who would she live like? How are her values? And she's a freaking organized person. And if she is that person, then that means I am too like that, because I am her, right? That frequency, I just need to tap into that frequency. And that's what we do through meditation and different guided visualization techniques. As I tapped into that frequency of that version of myself, I was like, oh my God. I began to see that disorganized version of me as the past. That nope, that's not who I am anymore. I'm an organized person. And since that day, my closet has been squeaky clean. Before that, even though my maid would clean it, my mom would clean it, it would just get messy like this in a week again. The purpose of me saying this is that the core change is in our self-image, in our identity. And when we shift those things energetically in our mind's eye, when we begin to see ourselves differently, then we activate the freaking future self. My question to you is, if you're somewhere in the middle, or maybe you're a few timelines above that, and you're like, you know what, Anna, life's good, but I know that it has the potential to be way better. If you're there, or maybe you're like, life's okay, but I know it can be dramatically better. Or maybe you're at life freaking sucks, and I know that it can be better. Wherever on the spectrum you are, there's always, the interesting thing about humans is that we have this incredible ability to change and constantly grow. That there is always another level for us to tap into, that growth is forever. And that is beautiful, because even when you get to this highest level, you're like, I can be even better. And it's not to say that it's never enough. Rather, that progress makes us feel alive. Because when we are progressing, when we are growing, we tap into the spirit in us. We tap into the expansiveness in us. We tap into the part of us that is limitless. And that is who we are in our core. That is how our soul is. It knows no limits. It is expansive. It is full of love. It is full of light. It is full of opportunity. It's so capable of expansion. I know that my facial expressions are probably crazy right now, but that's because I have too much energy in me. Ask yourself, what must happen for you to go from where you are to where you desire to be, to the next level of you, to the higher version of you. And then start recognizing the difference between your self-image, as in, for example, in my case, I saw myself as a disorganized person, versus reality, I'm just a person. Remember, I always say reality is neutral, friends. My self-image about myself was that I'm a disorganized person, but I'm just a person. I'm just a person. You're just a person. My parrot, I don't know if you can hear him, but he's getting hyped up. We're all just people. We have these traits, but those traits don't define us. People are not their behaviors. We are more than our behaviors. We are soul. We are spirit. We are limitless. If you couldn't hear him before, I'm sure you can now. There he is. Reality was, I'm just a person, and now I identify as I'm an organized person. Choose your identity. A lot of times our conditioning, the way we grew up, who we were made to believe we are, the experiences we had, all those things shape this very shackled identity of ourselves, where we see us as these small, limited beings. We were not made to be small. We were not made to be sheep. We were not made to conform to societal standards. We were made to be lions. We were made to freaking roar. I know. The first thing we're going to do in this future self activation method is the as if technique. The as if technique is one of my favorite techniques, and it works like this. It works magically. The as if technique says, this is your dream self. This is who you are right now. What you want to do is you want to wear the future self Kool-Aid. Put your future self shades on. These shades, by the way, represent that when I'm wearing them, I'm seeing the world as my future self, and I'm looking dope. As I begin to see the world as my future self, what do I see differently? The as if technique kind of says that you have to act as if that future has already happened. For example, let's say that your future, whatever you want to manifest in your future, is that, for example, that, oh, I want to get that job, or I want to get that relationship, or I want to start that business. I want my business to make X amount of money. Come on, Blue, play with me here. I want those, whatever you want that is out into the future. When you use the as if technique, glasses are a metaphor for it. When you put these on, you pretend like it's already happened, as if it has already shown in your reality. Now, how would you act? How would you think? How would you feel? What would you focus on? What would your values be? What would you enjoy? What would your emotions be? What meaning would you give if you were wearing the future self Kool-Aid? If you were drinking the future self Kool-Aid? And if you were like this future version of you, absolutely madly in love with life, super happy, energetic, broken through, if you were that person, how would you be? Who would you be? And that's the magic of the as if technique, because it's like almost like you tap into this part of you that you did not know existed. And the interesting thing is that I used a metaphor of shades. What you can do is you can give this as if version of you a name. For example, if you are here right now and I say go to your highest timeline, you can be like, well, I'll pretend as if I'm, for example, when I was building my as if version, her name was AP. It was like, if I pretend like I'm AP, what is she like? Oh my God, she's cool. I love her. And then I just start walking on earth like her. I just start showing up as her. In moments that I'm so scared, I tap out into the AP in me. Tap into the core as if version of you. Wear your as if shades and walk around, look at life as if your dreams have already manifested, because trust me, they have. The physical reality just has not caught up yet. And the interesting part about this is recognizing that all of those things in the future that you want, all those possibilities, when I say that they already exist, means that when we tap into that version, whatever version of ourselves we tap into, if you can perceive of it, you can create it, and it already exists. The human mind is not created in a way that it can perceive something that is impossible. For example, if I tell you to think about what God looks like, think about what heaven looks like, you can't perceive it because it's impossible for you to perceive it, because God did not give us the ability to imagine those things. But every single thing that you can imagine yourself doing, and I'm not saying stuff like, I imagine I'm SpongeBob. No, genuinely imagine the biggest dreams you have. If you can perceive them, it means you can create them. I remember reading in this book, he said, I think it was Earl Nightingale or Napoleon Hill who said that if you have the desire to do something, it means you have the ability. The ability does not exist. No, wait. The desire does not exist without the ability. It's not a matter of I'm not good enough or I don't have the skills or whatever. It's a matter of how can I become that version of me faster? How can I tap more into that part of me? Because I can tell you 100%, the future version of you, when you think about that version of you who has achieved all those big goals, dreams, whatever, they are a different human being. Their personality is different. The people they hang out with are different. Their physiology is different. The way they talk is different. The way they show up is different. Maybe the reason why you have not created that life yet is not because you're not good enough. It's because you are not ready for it yet. You have not embodied those traits yet. That if you were to be given that life today, would you know how to take care of it? I remember this really incredible fitness coach. She said something today. She said, everyone talks about having their dream body, but let me ask you this. If you had your dream body today, would you know how to take care of it? The reason why fitness is a long journey is because you learn how to nourish your body. And back then, I used to eat pizza 5 times a week. I was like, that's so true. If I had my dream body right in this moment, tomorrow, I woke up with it, I wouldn't know how to take care of her. I wouldn't know what to feed her. My habits would not be good enough for her. It's never a matter of, am I good enough? Am I capable? Am I going to fail? No, if you have that dream, all you need to do is become an energetic match for that dream, for that reality. Become that person who would be able to receive it, who would be able to care for it, who would be able to nourish it, to nurture it, right? That is your as if technique. Now, here's the thing. We all have 3 patterns of focus, and your focus determines your feeling. Your focus determines how you experience life. Now, one pattern of focus causes us to suffer, while the other pattern of focus causes us and inspires us to live in a beautiful, creative state, right? The first pattern of focus is, are you focusing on what you have or what's missing? The second pattern of focus is, are you focusing on what you can or can't control? And the third is the past, present, or future. If you can hear my parrot, I apologize. He's beautiful, and maybe I'll show you guys what he looks like at the end. 3 patterns of focus, what you have or what's missing. If you're focusing on what's missing, what you can't control, and the past, or worrying about the future all the time, then what is the quality of your life going to be like? Think about it. Your life will be extremely different if you focused on what you can control, what you have, and the present moment. So just play with the concept a bit and see, if I'm focusing on these things, what is life like? And if I'm focusing on these things, what is life like? Because that is probably what is keeping you from your dream self. You need to just bridge that gap between you right now and your dream state, your dream self. Now, the second thing, the first I told you guys is the as if technique. The second is gratitude. Now, gratitude is the most powerful emotion to exist. And gratitude, not like, oh, thank you, or thanks, God, or this was great, thank you so much. We are taught gratitude in a very surface level way. The first time I ever learned really deeply about the power of gratitude was about 3 years ago. And I was at a Tony Robbins event, and he did something called heart-centered breathing and priming. And it was this whole experience for 20 minutes. And what I recognized in that experience was that I had never experienced gratitude like that before in my life. I had moments where I said, I'm so grateful for this, or God, thank you, but never fully felt that vibration, that love, that expansiveness of gratitude in my heart. And I learned that we are not really taught the beauty of gratitude in our lives. And so gratitude goes beyond just saying thank you. You close your eyes, you go back to that time, and you really see, hear, and feel it as if it's already happening right now. And you fill your heart up with gratitude. What are you grateful for? What are you truly, in the core of your heart, what are you truly grateful for? Maybe it could be a person, it could be an event, it could be a time in your life. Gratitude, sort of, remember, I don't know if you've watched one of my videos, but I said this thing in one of the trainings, that we recreate the past that we remember in our future. The future we create is like sort of a recreation of our past. And it's such an interesting thing that whatever you focus on grows. So if you focus every single day of living in a state of pure gratitude and thanks for God, for the people, for everything in life that we take so for granted, then it grows. Then God gives you more reasons to be grateful. But if you are focused on your suffering, what's going to happen? You're going to find more reasons to suffer. Gratitude, I want you to do this in 3 ways, which will be the past, gratitude for what has been, okay? Gratitude for what currently is in your life right now, and a future gratitude, but this is going to be a little different. Future gratitude, you're going to write this as if, and feel this as if it has already happened. It has already manifested. You know when I say that this as if technique, you're going to apply this to gratitude. You're going to put your as if shades on and you're going to write, I am so happy and grateful for this job, for this promotion, for this business, for these clients, for this money, for my parents, or this relationship, for this car, whatever it is you want to manifest in your life right now, you're going to give gratitude as if you already have it. Because it's not the thing that we want more than it is the feeling that we're after. If you want a bunch of money, it's what does that money represent? If it's a job, what does that job represent? How does it make you feel? So you want to tap into that feeling. And gratitude is the kind of feeling that is sort of like a blanket feeling. When our greatest dreams come true, we feel nothing but awe and gratitude. When my book first came out, I remember my heart was so full. I was crying and I was so grateful that, oh my God, this has been a dream since I was 17, 18. And look at me now at 23, I've published my own book. Here it is, 23-year-old life coach. And this book, when I was writing, I always knew in my heart that I'm going to write, like, I know that I'm an author. I would say this to myself. And I've always done this future gratitude thing in my life because for 3 years now, and I've always like given this future gratitude that, oh, I'm so happy and grateful I had my book launch. I'm so happy and grateful. I didn't even know what my book was going to be. And then one day it wasn't a future thing anymore and it became my reality. What I'm saying really is that when we give gratitude for things before they even happen, we become an energetic match to that outcome. And the physical reality just needs to catch up then. And it happens way faster than if we are to sort of push for it or force it or whatever. I wrote my book in 13 days. It was just an inspiration. I was doing something and I was journaling and it just came to me. And the name of the book came to me and I was like, oh, that's going to be my book. And literally the next 13 days, I blocked out my calendar, wrote 70,000 words in 13 days. And it was like, it flowed out of me. It was so natural. My purpose here is to say that gratitude is so powerful, guys. You need to integrate it. The third thing is reflection and creation. Reflect back into your life. Reflect on the themes that have occurred in your life and the patterns that have shown up and the lessons you've learned, experiences you've had, and then create the future. Design it. Ask yourself questions. What are some childlike activities I'd like to do more of? What are more ways I want to have fun in my life? What do I want to give to the world? What do I want? How do I want people to see me? How do I want people to know me? How do I want to see myself? I have a guide that's called the Future Yourself Activation Guide. It's a PDF, very detailed, and it has all of this, except for the as if technique. It has everything in it. So if you want, it has like 10 guided questions for reflection and creation. Just comment free guide below and I will send it your way. The fourth is itinerary method. And you're probably going to need this guide, by the way, because it has all the details for all these methods. So what you write, you invite, right? So that method is going to give you like a proper workbook And you can just write down your answers in it and invite your future self to come out and play with you. The itinerary method is also based off of the law of assumption, right? The as if technique. Again, the law of assumption entails that we assume the wish fulfilled before it is made manifest in our physical reality. Assume that the moment you have the wish, it is fulfilled. And so the itinerary method is really like you open your calendar, and let's say that what you want is a promotion, or what you want is to start your business, or what you want is to travel to a certain city. What you're going to do is open your calendar, and whatever you feel drawn towards, whichever month, just put it in there. Put it in the month and be like, this month, this day, I'm doing this. And when you do that, you give your brain this idea that it's already done. And then your brain works in a way that, remember I said there's 11 million bits of information that go into your brain, but your brain will only process about like 30 to 40 bits of that information. So when you're making this to be your reality, your brain will bring in that process, that information that is in congruence with the reality that you're manifesting, right? That's science for you. Then the fifth is a time travel method, okay? Go out into the future, okay? Close your eyes, go out into the future and imagine. Imagine it's 1 year from now. Imagine you are living as your highest self. Imagine everything that you have wanted to manifest in your life has come true. And then write a letter to yourself telling her or him that, hey, this is what life is like. And it's freaking awesome, And just be like, I'm so happy and grateful to write it in present tense. Because you're literally like traveling time and you're going into that future version of you and seeing life as him or her and then describing it, okay? Then we have being. Feel it, It was a Madagascar reference in case you didn't get it. I like to feel it. Of course, he liked to move it. But here we like to feel it. Anyways, being is the most important part. Like that is what brings this whole thing together, because being is about tapping into that energy that is already within you. It's just been sort of like dormant, like it has been sleeping. It's like you are acting like a sheep, but that lion inside you is just waiting. It's waiting to wake up. It's waiting to, come out and roar. I'm not going to roar again, but you know what I mean, okay? Point is that, embody that future version of you. Take action as that person. Do different things. Maybe spend a day being your future self. What would he or she do? What would their activities be like? What would their dressing be like? What would the way they speak be like? Where would they go? How would they talk? How would they walk? Maybe right now you walk like this. But your future self walks with their chest popped out and they're like, yeah, because they have so much certainty. So find that balance out and embody that version of you. Every day you wake up, make a commitment to yourself. Make a commitment to being the future version of you, because you are already that person. So just comment free below and I will send you my future self activation method PDF. And I want you to use this to transform your life. And I want you to come back here to the comment section months later, maybe weeks later, whatever you were manifesting, I want you to come back and tell us how that went for you. The only rule is that you better freaking do it. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.